ass.
You guys, this is all Kyle's mom's fault. Shut up, Cartman! Kyle's mom is the one that started that damn club, and all because she's a big, fat, stupid bitch. Don't say it, Cartman! Wait! Don't do it, Cartman! Wait! I'm warning you! Okay, okay.
Hello, peasants.
Want to kill all human?
Work there, dude.
We'd like some money. Yeah, money. Money is cool.
Aren't you ashamed? We got whores in the city. We need backup now. Don't be so dang literal.
Well, you've got one heck of a nerve.
Oh my God, the government is here. Run!
Hey, barkeep, whose leg do you have to hump to get a dry martini around here?
Ich bin ein Springfielder.
Shut the hell up. I've got the strangest feeling someone's gonna kick his ass.
Hello, peasants.
Want to kill all human?
Work there, dude.
We'd like some money. Yeah, money. Money is cool.
Aren't you ashamed? We got whores in the city. We need backup now. Don't be so dang literal.
Well, you've got one heck of a nerve.
Oh my God, the government is here. Run!
Hey, barkeep, whose leg do you have to hump to get a dry martini around here?
Ich bin ein Springfielder.
Shut the hell up. I've got the strangest feeling someone's gonna kick his ass.
All right, welcome to Totally Toonular.
Yeah.
Yeah, 105. And look, we're back at the couch. What's
Yay.
up? Look at that. First time streaming from the couch.
Is it really?
Yeah,
This is the first time we're live in the living room.
Yes.
Or I say we like I'm here all the time.
And that's right. We got roommate Bergio on the show today because unfortunately Leo can't make it. But hey, roommate Bergio,
Hey.
what's up?
Glad to be here.
Yeah. So what's up, Bergio? How you been doing? It's been a while since you came on the show.
It's been good. We when promoting Cuck Island, we got it to a streaming distributor. We are on our way to being on 4 different streamers: Amazon, Tubi, Play Now Media, and I feel really bad. I don't know what that 4th one is, but but only more to come,
Cool.
hopefully.
We're gonna cut the world.
And the moment it is live on there, if you want to go and see it, it will be whichever one gets it first. We'll get the premiere, but then we'll also have it on cuckisland.com, www.cuckisland.com.
Yeah. We're gonna cuck the world, John. Cucking the world.
That's the plan. Hopefully, we're setting up a screening in Puerto Rico.
Very nice.
More on that. That was for Reeves and Fern. Fern was putting stickers.
I
Stickers are
think
everywhere.
Puerto Rico is ready for the secret of Cuck Island.
I really hope so.
Well, we've been ready, and I'm excited to see this thing fucking get on streaming, and especially Tubi. I just feel like a lot of people watch Tubi.
That was the end goal. We wanted Tubi, and we sure as hell got it.
Nice. I love Tubi. Tubi rules, so I get it.
It's
Yeah.
awesome because they got indie movies on there, but they also got like all the John
Yeah.
Wicks. So there's so much you can get on Tubi. So you can watch John Wick and Cook Island the same day.
Same day.
Yeah.
To back. That would be a good double feature.
Now we get this ring here, so I'm gonna transfer over to Ben Johnson because you don't sound very good. Oh, see, originally roommate here, Bergio, was here to replace you, but then like, nah, I can make it. But then Leo's like, oh, cool, there's a sub. I'm just
No,
gonna-
and I can make it. I'm just gonna sound terrible all night long, and I do apologize about that. I'm also gonna be significantly quieter. So if you want a bunch of information from me,
be happy. About
you'll find it inside the chat. That's where I'll be popping off, is inside of our YouTube chat, saying wildly inappropriate things. But I do have big news, very big news actually. I had a lunch today with creator of Thong Girl, personal friend of mine, Glenn Weiss, here in town.
I love you, Glenn.
We just peeped our first theater for Thong Girl the musical. So
Nice.
yeah,
Very
and then
cool.
and then we sat down and we started going through some sets. We started looking at sort of limitations, how we're gonna bring Thong Girl the musical to a theatrical crowd.
Dude, I'm so pumped. That's just awesome.
This is going to be exciting.
Seriously.
I cannot wait to. How do I get tickets to the premiere?
Listen, I mean, we're doing 3 to 4 shows, so we're definitely doing like a Thursday night, Friday night, and then possibly like a Saturday night with a Sunday matinee. So it's gonna be
For the older crowd.
yeah, for the older crowd.
Who want to see Girl, but don't want to see her after 7 p.m.
it's gonna be rowdy though. We were talking through things like how do we make Thong Girl fly over the audience, over the crowd.
Oh
yeah.
my
That'd
God.
be fun.
Yeah.
That's like some
It's just like Spider-Man the clusterfuck. Isn't that the name of it? That was the name of that. Yeah. And then in other news, and this is the one time I do this, I put it on the other side of the room instead of having it in my hands. Hang on. All right, talk amongst yourselves. 1 second.
All right. Well, Ben has to go grab stuff from across the room. But
That sounds like fun, though. Wait, isn't
Got
Thong
in the
Girl?
mail today
Oh.
a
I bet you
prototype
that's on.
featuring work by three people here. We have our first Shithouse DVD.
Nice going, guys.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's
Yay.
our shitty shorts. You can order these directly.
what shorts
What?
are on there?
Oh
What
my
shorts are
god,
on there?
dude! We got everything from Wetworks, Derek's first short. We've got Bar Olympics. We got Blood Stab. We got the
Let's.
what?
Ooh.
We have the making of Blood Stab as well on here. Be Cutter Get Stabbed.
Oh my God. Wait, where can I get this?
From shit.house.productions on Instagram. Hit me up. $15 gets it shipped to you later this month. This is the prototype, and I have to place an order.
I am ordering that right after this show. I am excited.
But we got everything from the one thing I learned in college to another John Bergio instant classic, Ready Ready. We've got Mita's Murder. Right. We Reeves Elliott's Tammy, and then we have two from the writer of Curse of the Were, dear friend of the pod, at Little Jimmy Adamson. We have
Little Jimmy
he
Adamson.
actually makes shit. Can you believe it?
We saw the live stream. We saw what
he
can
doesn't
make.
just talk shit; he can make shit too. But it's called the Piggy Bank and Hat. But yeah, we've got a mountain of stuff on here. 72 minutes worth of content. So there you go. 72
Wow.
whole ass minutes.
That's awesome.
Beautiful menu design by another friend of the pod, Chris from Chicago. He did our menu design, all of that fun stuff. So yeah,
Shout out to Chris from
it's been
Chicago.
a big day, baby.
Great.
Besides losing your voice, so I hope we can hear you.
Well,
soon,
yeah,
man.
I mean, I've been told at least once today that this helps my voice, but I don't understand how.
It is.
We'll see.
It is sexy. I think
Yeah.
we're friends enough where I could
Yeah.
platonically say your voice sounds sexy, and yeah. So
Well, I
Hope that-
appreciate it.
I hope that makes you feel a little better about being sick.
Just a touch. Just a
Okay.
touch. I'm also real quick before we move too far forward. It's been a hot minute since I've indulged James in his favorite part of the show. So while we're talking tonight, I am eating my dinner as well. I have
Poor
some,
James.
Not part of the show.
I have some chicken here, topped off with some of our sponsor, Big Dan's chili powder and some of that mustard mutation.
Excited.
Yeah, he's sending you, John, specifically some butt rub.
That is very exciting. James told me today, he said I can put it by my desk, and that's where it's gonna live.
Yeah, for those who know, John likes to keep the Big Dan butt rub at his desk.
It's good on everything. You thought it was Frank's Red Hot Sauce? No, it's big on
Yeah.
everything.
Yes. Yeah. My fiance went surprised me one night. He's like, I made pulled pork, and guess what I put in it? And it was Big Dan's butt rub. So
I mean,
So everyone, go get yourself some Big Dan butt rub.
I'm telling you, it's the best thing on the menu. Not that the other stuff isn't good. It's just the best.
nobody rubs butt the way Big Dan rubs butt.
That's what they got to put on the bottle.
yeah, there you go.
So Nicole, how's California hanging?
Well, good, but I'd love to hear about your birthday first, James. Could I hear about
birthday.
how your birthday was?
Sure. I mean, I guess if you want to transition into the topic of the day.
No, I'll let you transition. Actually, you're the Kevin Smith fan. Okay, then I'll talk about my life. I was just at my bachelorette party actually. This past yeah, it was, it was very fun. So I spent the weekend in Austin, Texas, partying way harder than any nearly 31-year-old should. So yeah, it was very fun.
How was Austin, Texas? Was it a good place? Was it fun?
It was cool. I mean, like what I did was very bachelorette-esque, where I really just drank. Like I really did.
Went to Nashville. The Nashville's the bachelorette spot.
That's why I didn't go, because I'm a contrarian.
How many penis hats and penis straws were there?
Yeah. A lot of penis straws. There were like napkins that said "one penis forever," and I held them over my boobs. What else? Like just there was the bachelorettes made a bachelorette bingo, and getting a stranger to subscribe to Toonular or Totally Recommend This Dude was on there, and that happened. I did get a stranger. A really nice.
In the bingo.
What's that?
Did you win the bingo?
I think we all just kind of got too drunk and forgot about it. So in a way, we all won the bingo. I was talking about something else and I don't remember. Oh, I think next time I go to Austin, I would like really indulge in like the culture and see more of the art scene, because I really did nothing cultural at all this past week.
Like I just know Austin as like the hipster like film community of like, the indie hipster film community of the country.
Yeah, I would like to. I mean, we went to like a flea market and stuff like that. That was, RC, and we went to like a hipster bar. But next time I go back to Austin and do more of that. I really was just debaucherous and drinking. That's it.
I know that South by is down there, right? Like South by Southwest is Austin, yeah?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot. That is there.
So hopefully don't fly Southwest.
I did actually fly Southwest.
Ooh.
And I don't know. I mean, I was just nervous about it, but thankfully they didn't fuck me over, I guess, Southwest. But
What else was on the bingo card besides Toonular?
yeah, one of them was like, tell a stranger that Nicole won Best Smile in high school, which I did. I won that as a senior superlative. Shameless plug.
I didn't even know you could win that in high school.
Yeah, I did. If I could find other ones. Yeah, another one was like, get someone to subscribe to Totally Toonular. So
I know one.
Huh?
I know one.
Okay.
One was wear Post Malone styled face tattoos all weekend.
Oh yeah. That you're right. Good memory.
Yeah.
It is on here, and I did that on Friday night. Here, I don't actually. Here we go. You can kind of see it. There's like Paris Hilton and Post Malone on the bingo card. You guys can see that.
Yeah, I can't really read it.
Okay, yeah, whatever. I wore Post Malone face tattoos Friday night, and like no one was embarrassed by me. In fact, Lindsay, friend of the show and the love of my life, Lindsay, like definitely like pushed me to be as weird as humanly possible, which is very fun to be around her for.
I mean, I feel like that's the basis of your entire friendship.
Yeah, it's just like pushing each other to be like
Pushing yourself to be weird.
Yeah, and just like loving it. Buy Nicole a shot. Go to bed last. Though those are kind of boring. Ride a mechanical bull. Did not do that.
When did the really buff like stripper cop show up?
Dude, I'm happy you asked. No strippers. Which I was like, I feel like I wasn't gonna initially before my bachelorette. I wasn't gonna push either way. I was like, okay, whatever happens, happens.
Not even one fake like stripper cop.
No, that's the thing. After it was all said and done, I was like, maybe I should have asked. I was like, would have been kind of like, when else can you have exactly like stripper cops just show up randomly at your So
Yeah.
If anyone's considering having a bachelorette out there and considering having strippers, might as well go for it. I kind of
regret it later.
yeah, I was so nonchalant about it. I was like, if it happens, whatever. But now I'm like, okay. Whatever.
I mean, there's still time before the wedding. Like, we at Totally Toonular have not thrown you a bachelorette yet.
That is very generous of you guys. You tell me when, where, and how many stripper cops, male, there will be, and I will.
You're looking at one of them on that couch.
Yay! All right. I mean, yeah. Shout out to bachelorettes that have strippers at their bachelorette parties. I guess it's a.
Well, it sounds great. I mean, it must be awesome. I mean, so what's it like now crossing the bachelorette party, right? I mean, now it's like right. I mean, now it's like here we go.
I'm exhausted. I was telling John before the show. I was like, wow, I'm like very tired. So I guess maybe that's the rest of my life. It's just like being exhausted into normality.
That sounds like growing up. That's what I feel like it is being old.
My ball and chain. Now I'm just ready to, be boring. No, I'm kidding. I'm not. But...
Fart out a couple of kids and call it good and go to PTA meetings and all of that fun stuff, right?
Right. I remember when I was fun and I used to, go to Austin and drink and consider having strippers and all that. I remember all that. And they're like, okay, grandma, go to bed. You know what I mean? But
I was on a podcast once. All right, sure, grandma.
Yeah, sure, grandma. Oh my gosh, that's gonna be like do you remember MySpace of the day? I bet there's gonna be like other things by then. But anyway, so I'm especially tired today. It's funny, I was thinking about it. All of us are kind of falling apart here on Totally Toonular this week. Maybe not James because it was his birthday and that was a happy thing. But I assume you had a busy weekend.
Wait.
Yeah.
The way you just put that means the Bachelorette was not a happy thing. That's the context in which that fell. We're all falling apart. Everything is bad. James had a good time though.
That's fair. Let me try to rephrase that a little bit. Like the bachelorette party was fun, but now I'm like very, very much falling apart. The aftermath, like it was a lot in a short period of time. So
no puking.
there was not me. I'm not gonna throw anyone under the bus, but not me.
Very good.
That's what matters.
Yeah. It was a fun time. It was very fun. So.
No, that sounds great. But yeah, I mean, this weekend was my birthday. You know, we celebrated last week with the Boylan Bjarni Batman birthday bash, which is great. Love you, Bjarni. Also this week, you know, good friend of Shit House and friend of the show, Mark Finch was in town. I was hanging out with Mark Finch a lot for a bit.
Awesome.
And fucking love that British man. Amazing.
I fucking love that British.
Yeah, Leo was here because we hung out together with Leo too.
I'm so sad I wasn't in the city for his visit. Like I miss Mark Finch. Like nobody's business. I miss him.
He was telling me, he was like, man, I wish Ben would have hit me up about Weird Deer.
I sort of did, I think.
So reach out to him, I guess. But it was super fun.
Nice.
It was hang out, had a few drinks, you know. He would chain smoke. I would stand next to him while he chain smoked. Also, like he comes at like the coldest time in New York ever.
Yeah.
It was like what, like 15?
Yeah, it was bad. It was, you didn't want to go outside bad.
You're like horribly bad. And it was windy, so it made it even fucking worse.
Yeah.
But then it was my birthday. Usually around this time we've done this show, I've been a nice, you know, sunny California. But this time I decided to work. Because I'm 30, so I got to be a working
Yeah,
man.
there you go. So talk about, you know, really just turning in the old towel in adulthood, right? Selling out.
Well, shout out to the Bad Taste team. Bruja at the bar, our good friend Deanna was making some music video for a song she was doing and asked me to do sound, and I was like, let's do it. It was long. I won't say that it was like an easy shoot, you know, a good 15-hour days, but I don't know. I love working with the crew. You know, there's a lot of awesome people there that I met through Mukbang, through Troma, through whatever.
It looked rowdy. Like
yeah, and it is rowdy. I gotta say, man. I mean, I wish I could pull up the call sheet, but there was like at least almost like 8 makeup people and special effects people.
Oh,
like insane, like an insane. Most I think of makeup people I've ever been with. On
I have
set.
2 questions.
Like,
one is, what movie was it?
So it's called Bruja at the Bar. It's a music video.
Cool.
And it's like, I mean, the best way to describe it is it takes place in some like demon bar with goblins
Awesome.
and
Very
like
cool.
different other mermaids and whatever. So everybody got all makeup up and shit. And it looks sick. It should come out soon.
Let me ask you
I have no idea
second
when.
question. Bad Taste video. Just to make sure, is that oh my gosh, I'm blanking out his name. Is that Rocco's
Got
Okay.
the poster right
Cool.
behind me right
Never
here.
met him, but I'm familiar with him, and he seems to make really cool art. So that's awesome.
And Mr. Ben Johnson, Brooks also.
oh,
says hello.
good,
He keeps-
Brooksy. Very nice.
He's like, oh, I missed that guy, and I keep forgetting to tell you every time we come on this show.
I love it. Nah, Brooks is cool. Rocco's cool. All those guys at Bad Taste, they do wonderful, wonderful things. And
Cool. Awesome.
It's shocking. I mean, I looked at that and it looked like a fucking acid trip
It
coming
was
to
bananas.
life.
You talk about art department, man. They spent the day dressing that apartment, and it looked
sick.
bananas.
Sick.
Like Blood Bar. And shout out to also our good friend of the show, RJ, RJ Young. He did this
Awesome,
like
dude.
pulsing, like bloody table gag, which was pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
Always shout out
Is
to
he
Jay.
in New
So I
York?
love seeing all the dudes.
Does he?
He's upstate.
Oh, cool. Oh, nice. Oh, cool. I went to school.
You know, I don't know exactly where. It's not Buffalo, right? I
I
don't
wish
know.
I knew.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Yeah.
exactly where.
Well,
But
yeah.
fuck
Very
RJ.
cool.
No, but it was fun. And yeah, what a way to spend your 30th birthday, you know, just like hanging around with friends, you know, doing
You know, I
sound
gotta
and
say,
watching.
that is pretty epic. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you hear like, oh, you got to go to work on your 30th birthday. You think like, oh, you're going to your desk job or whatever, like pushing paper. You like worked on a really cool music video. That's pretty awesome. I don't know. And you got paid for it.
Yes, yeah. And it was also 10 minutes from my crib, so I like walked there every morning. So that was also
Very
great.
cool.
You know, it was like right down the street. yeah, I mean, I said it was just long, but yeah, what a great time. I love all those people, so I'm excited to see it. What a way to spend your birthday, you know? I think like at first I was just like avoiding my birthday. You know, I took the job to
Right.
like pretend that like my birthday wasn't happening, but a lot of people came through. I got a lot of awesome birthday wishes. Like shout out to I don't know. You can look at the YouTube comments now. Is Dwayne Steeler watching?
Babette
Is he commenting?
Bombshell is in the chat.
Yeah.
Babette wished me happy birthday. But shout out to Dwayne Steeler who made a whole post who called me his blood stab buddy and heavy metal friend. So
Oh, that was so sweet.
fine, Dwayne Steeler. Love that dude. So yeah, and all the love that everyone gave me my birthday. Thank you. You know, John still owes me a cake.
I do still have a cake. I promised it him a while ago, and I have not made it.
But still, it
It'll
was a
happen.
good birthday. And then you guys saw my Instagram. Everybody saw my birthday kickflip video that Leo had edited
That was
for
really
me.
good.
That was
was
exceptional.
I wish you
Yeah, I wish you were here to comment on it.
Yeah.
Although that was a great video.
Yes, and that was like literally just 3 hours of me falling, and then Leo just like literally following me, and like it's like there's like I had to add like the tag at the end of it of like Leo filming me because it's just so funny watching him just like he's just like crouching like staring at me.
That's a cute video.
What I love the most is the stick is somehow magically cut out in post.
So it's
So
just
it
like
just kind of
Leo.
looks like he's happy and following for the
So yeah, shout out Leo. I wish you were here. But yeah, the video's cool. I'm glad I was able to land a few kickflips and not feel old yet. So I'm still rad, guys.
You all are.
You stop being rad the second you say rad. You know that, right?
Oh my gosh. Fair, I guess.
Well, as long as I can land a kickflip, I'm still saying I'm rad. But yeah, super fun. And this week, I'm not as good as transitions as Leo is, but I picked. So this week we were talking.
Well,
Smodimations.
wait. I think I have one. I think I have one.
Oh, actually, wait. Before I even talk about it, I also forgot one more thing because somebody else sent me something for my birthday. It's pretty fucking awesome, which is this amazing Batman toaster
So cool.
that we have over here. I know, Chili Beans, you're making toast. Is it ready?
I already made the toast.
Oh, you did? Oh,
But I can't bring it in.
look, we got this toaster
Ooh
right
la
here.
la.
Works, dude. I tried it today, and it toasts Batman, like it toasts the Batman logo on your bread.
That really is like beyond cool. Like I don't even have words for how cool that is. It's so
No, it was
cool
so
as
sick.
Like cool as good.
And you sent it in like what I assume is like a space heater box.
Yeah, right. I cut up a space heater box. Is really what I did.
Yeah, I was like, why is there extra pieces of box in this box?
Because I didn't want to throw them away, and that way it keeps the box from like moving around and shipping. It's like stuffing. You never let everything go to waste.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad thinking.
So
Yeah, but now I gotta throw it away.
this is what I'm doing. I'm passing the buck, but at least it saw a second life. At least it saw a second life. That is the reuse part of reduce, reuse, recycle, right? See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the best thing that I saw there in that presentation was your hetero life mate, John Bergio, modeling, right? That was
Oh, right.
and see, so a hetero life mate, I feel, is a thing that brings us closer to this animation that we're talking about, right? Or
Yeah.
Smodimations.
Smart.
Yeah.
Gee.
Hey.
Very
my
bad.
head of life made John Bergio.
Thank you. I'm honored. I really am.
Hey, we survived 8 months of COVID, and
We really did. That was
we didn't kill each other. We only taped up the apartment once.
only once. It was not as funny as 90s sitcoms would have you believe. But we gave it a shot to see if it wasn't it. It just wasn't.
Wait,
But yeah, Smodimations. What? You said wait.
wait.
What do we not?
Because this opens up like a can of worms right now.
I thought we
We
transitioned.
did,
Now we're
but
opening
then
it up.
Bergio said a thing, and then that spun me out right quick. So give me just a second.
I thought
Right?
suddenly now you can
Now
talk.
I can. Yeah, now
His
his voice
voice
is
is
getting
back.
better. It's lubricated, right? It's lubricated. Here's the thing. Bergio says it's not as funny as 90 sitcoms would have you believe. So my question is this. did you guys do it because you were angry at each other, or did you do it just to see if it would be funny?
No, I distinctly remember. I said, James, you know, if we were in a zombie apocalypse and I were bitten, I would tell you, right? And he said, yeah. I said, I've got a tickle in my throat right now, and if I have COVID, I don't want you to get it. So we cut everything that was mine was on this half of the table. We still have the tape in it. And everything that was his was on that half of the table, and this was my half of the couch. That was his. And I didn't have COVID. I was just smoking too much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It was like, because that was how terrifying COVID was in the beginning.
Yeah, true.
I would tickle my throat. It's the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
I got a quarantine, John.
You two are the cutest, like, platonic couple I've ever seen. I love you two together.
If we were to animate this podcast, that is a bit that I would actually want to see, is Zombie John slowly but surely churning into a zombie as he and James tape off their apartment.
There's little parts of me falling off.
Right, as you go along. I mean, that would be the chunk that we would Smodimate, right?
Yeah, Smod. That's the transition right there.
We got there.
Yeah, Smodimation. That's right,
Yes.
man. Now, Ben, I know you. I think you're the only one. No, that's why you listen to Smodcast, right? Like, who's yours listened to Smodcast?
Yes.
Before?
Not I.
So yeah, I mean, when did you start listening to Smodcast?
I listened to it for a very short period in like 2012 to 2014. Mostly just around the Walrus Yes Times, like episode 140 something, and then, I don't know, maybe 200 something.
What made you get into Smodcast? I
like Kevin Smith. I was very much getting into film, and he was the one director. This is why I want to watch him. What else could he teach me in this? Plus, it was funny. I would be able to listen to it while I was at work as well, because I'd be filming for the TV station in Avon Lake, and I would just have it in one ear, listening to the radio in the other ear. It was easy. I would also do audiobooks that way, so I didn't have to ever read a book for school.
No, look at that. I wish I had audiobooks in high school, but yeah, I mean, that's how I listened to it too. I was always at work just listening to Kevin Smith, and that's actually part of how I got into. Like, I always credit Clerks as what got me into like film school, but it was actually technically Smodcast, because I'd watched Clerks plenty of times. But there's an episode I love to actually go back and listen to it, because now it's like 8 years old. But it was Jeff Anderson and Kevin Smith talking about Clerks 3 and what their plan was, or like how they were going to do Clerks 3, or right. It was just like the beginning of Clerks 3, basically. Even though now it's a completely different movie than whatever they talked about. But they talked a lot about making Clerks. It was the first time I really heard people like sit down and talk about it. And that's when I was like, oh shit, I can get into this. And he's like, just the way he talks about writing and doing podcasts. He was like, anyone can fucking do this. Just do it.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
So yeah, I love Smodcast. I listen to it all. I mean, like, especially with this era of Smodcast too. It's because like Smodcast is like early podcasting. I think like Kevin Smith always talks about it's like him and like Joe Rogan, were like, I think he even like predates Joe Rogan.
I mean, if we're talking solely podcast, I mean, it's just it's a growth onto radio shows, I think. Well, like how it started was a podcast.
You're right. But those are radio shows, but podcasts brought that shit onto the internet, and they were the people who started doing it.
And it was just anybody could. Although those two were the famous ones that did it. You're right.
Yeah. But yeah, and then between Scott and like what I love about it most is really just like these two guys, just like, oh, we got all this free time, let's just like hang out.
Yeah.
And just start bullshitting and fucking around, you know.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, it was also a great little glimpse into their lives. Like, you would hear updates about different things. Even just now, we were listening to the Kevin Smith, like his immediate reaction to when he was too fat to fly.
Talk about Southwest. There's the famous one. They kicked him off a plane for being too fat. And you can listen to his awesome 8-part Smodcast rant on YouTube. It's pretty amazing.
It was very.
There's a country guy named Roger Allen Wade, who wrote a song called "Too Fat to Fly," and it's specifically about Kevin Smith. And Roger Allen Wade, if you don't know anything about him, he's the guy who does "If You're Gonna Be Dumb, You Gotta Be Tough" for Jackass.
All right.
He also does Big Ass Happy Family for Jackass. He's Johnny Knoxville's cousin, and he lives in like Knoxville, Tennessee, right?
Oh, cool.
So Knoxville is actually responsible. Johnny Knoxville is actually responsible for Too Fat to Fly. He had his drunk cousin record a song so he could send it directly to Kevin Smith. That's no bullshit. Yeah.
Awesome.
Feel better to poke fun at the situation? What was do you know the context in which it was
I
sent?
think it was just Johnny Knoxville thinking it was fucking funny.
Yeah,
I mean,
that sounds like a Knoxville
sure as
thing,
hell
dude.
was
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But and when did you listen to Smodcast?
Probably around the same time as Bergio, like when I was getting into podcast in general, right? I was listening to, it was probably, God, right about the time I was getting into Harmontown as well. And then I kind of fell off and on from Smodcast.
Yeah, I always kind of go off and on. Even though now, I mean, Smodcast is still going now, but now they don't do the Scott Mosier, Kevin Smith thing anymore. He because he's in Canada
Right.
now, so now it's just like whoever. I mean, he gets like interviews, but I think the last one was posted like in like June.
So it was one of those things that like I would dip back into, and all of this is while I was walking around Nike, shitting my pants outside of the Michael Jordan building. But it's all in there. It's really one of those things where as I got into listening to podcasts, but then I listened to it more. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I used to listen to it a lot. Like, it was that and the other show, Tell Him Steve Dave. I don't know if you
That
guys
one, no.
listen to that.
I never listened to that one.
I used to love Tell Him Steve Dave because they got it's all the Walt, Brian, and Q from Impractical Jokers. But yeah, I used to listen to shit all the time, and it was just so much. I don't know. It was always just like different than I guess what I listened to before because it was just these two when I was listening to podcasts. The first ones I got into were always kind of like discussion podcasts, or it was always like movie news or whatever. Like when I listened to Smodcast, it was just literally these two dudes just making bits about like Canadian like radio and shit like that. It was amazing.
And that's, I guess that's sort of the thing about the medium, right? Like in general, because you can't look at something like Smodimation without like considering what podcasts are, what the bits are. Like it feels like an extension of morning radio, but with a little bit more sort of nuance and you can find like topic, right? Like you couldn't have a Saturday morning radio show that's just cartoon based. It has to go to everybody. Seriously though, like and think about over the 100 and some odd episodes that we've done, you've pulled in some of those morning radio tricks that drive time sort of bullshit disc jockey stuff. You got your sound bites, you got your bits, we've got all of that fun. So there's an element in going to like an old medium, adding nuance and specificity to what you're doing, and then projecting it out to people who are into that kind of thing. And I think because Kevin Smith and Scott Mosier had name to them, it could draw more of a crowd and bring more awareness to sort of the medium.
And it was at the time. I mean, it was free,
Right.
which I think also was a deal at the time because I mean, the Stern Show you had to pay for, right?
By that point in time, he'd been on Sirius for 6 years. So yeah.
So that was like a big deal too, to be like, oh, we can just listen to Kevin Smith and Scott Mosier for free, just completely free.
Right.
And now every podcast is free. You know what I mean? It's like that shit's everywhere.
You're right.
But I mean, what I love about this Smodimation, though, it actually took me a minute to watch it because actually, I knew it existed, but I mean, I really didn't find it or knew what it was until luckily Tubi for some reason just uploaded it, and I found it a couple months ago, and I've watched it at least 4 times.
It's very.
It was definitely the catalyst that got me into it. Like that was where I found it. Specifically the one where they talk about the phone call or calling a pizza, And it has like the crazy Canadian.
Yeah, they're like, we don't
patriotic
do that in
speech.
Canada.
He rips off. That was. I remember seeing that and thinking, I need to see the rest of these. That was the moment that I remember.
Yeah, because Kevin was just like, yeah, we would call and just order people pizza, and he's like, yeah, we just didn't do that in Canada.
That was so funny. Oh my god, that was probably my favorite one. That pizza one, because it was just so silly.
Yeah, you never listened to Smodcast, Nicole.
No.
So what was going into this? Like, what?
Yeah, I mean, I really just watched it at face value, you know, which I guess is kind of to be expected, where it's just like, okay, this is like short animated stuff by Kevin Smith and his friend, because I'm not as familiar with Scott Moser.
Producer of Clerks and a bunch of Kevin
Smith.
Yeah.
Also, director of the most recent Grinch.
The DreamWorks
Gotcha.
one.
I haven't seen that one. But regardless, like I've looked at his IMDb since, but when I turned this on literally earlier today, no, like I don't know. But I mean, I grew up watching a lot of Kevin Smith's work. You know, so I'm familiar with him and I like his work. I mean,
but yeah, would you like totally recommend Smodcast?
Yeah, I would. Yes, I would, dude. I would totally recommend this, dude. Yeah. There were some sketches, like I'll call them sketches. There were some sketches I liked more than others, but all in all, I thought it was absolutely hilarious. Like, and it's funny because I haven't listened to the podcast, so I don't have the frame of reference of like just the conversations. I like just have it, like, I don't know, these like animated bits, like.
Yeah, I mean, there's literally like no real format to their show. I mean, there probably is if you really like go into it, but there's really no like they like kind of have a topic at the beginning. Like they actually, I don't even think they even have a topic until they like figure it out when they're like talking so much, because they just hang out a bit in the beginning, and then somebody asks one question, and then they talk about a movie or like Aquaman, whatever, for like, you know, an hour and just 2 bits, and then they used to have a segment called BBC where they would like, there was like a Canadian Twitter that was like a police scanner, and they would just go through the tweets of like the most ridiculous like innocent Canadian crimes that were reported.
I can imagine. Do you have any you can think of off the top of your head, or?
You know, that's the thing too. I wish I remember a lot more of this, because I used to listen to that shit so religiously. But I guess I never listened to. In general, I don't listen to podcasts twice.
Oh,
so you know, like I listened to an episode, and even though I listened to probably like 80, 100 episodes of Smodcast, I mean, I barely remember like.
So I'm gonna be dead honest with you guys here. One of the things that I have a tendency to do is go back and listen to some of the same shit. Like I'm about halfway through a second listen on Harmontown right now, sprinkled in with the other stuff that I listen to as well.
I kind of.
You go through all of it?
Yeah. From start to the end again.
I've done that for podcast episodes where I'm like, okay, I'm familiar with what they're going to say. I'm just going to toss it on the background. You know what I mean? Because I still want like to be entertained, but sometimes I can't be fully engaged.
I don't know why. I don't have like a real reason why I don't listen to podcasts twice. I don't know. I feel like I experienced it in the moment. I'm watching it when it's out.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't go back and rewatch.
There are a couple of episodes of the Movie Crypt that I've listened to like 3 or 4 times. There are episodes of How Did This Get Made that I've listened to like 3 or 4 times. Like it's a
3
thing.
or 4.
Yeah. I mean,
I get it.
I do it when I recommend it to people too. If I'm like looking for an episode to recommend to someone.
Just making me listen to episodes I know you've listened to like a bunch before.
The Dollops, Auto in the Attic. Like that's my go-to. And every time I recommend it to somebody, I literally go back and listen to it that afternoon, that day again. Like, because it's so fucking good. Yeah. Anyway, that's me in podcast. Sorry.
I'm usually not anti-podcast, but I feel like they take up way too much time, and I'm usually specifically against the like 2 dudes talking the usual Kevin Smith style. And it was after a long time of Kevin Smith that I got tired of that style. I almost feel like he's the guy that got me out of it. But I do want to shout out a really good podcast. Joe Shack, shout out, co-worker, friend of the show. Was showing me what happened to Richard Simmons.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, wait a minute.
It was
I'm familiar with the story, but could you tell me more details about it, John? Because I am familiar, but not
Video.
totally in.
Elevator pitch. He is the most reliable celebrity at celebrity tours. So if you pay for those vans where they drive you around to celebrity stops, surefire they were going to take you there. He was going to come out of his house. He was going to take photos with you. 20 people a day would
Okay.
go there. He also hosted his jazzercise class super religiously, and then boom, one day just disappeared. Nobody heard from him. Nobody saw from him. Some people thought it was elder abuse. Some people thought he was transitioning. And so this podcast goes through every possible, what could have been going on, what happened. It was 5 parts, I think, maybe 6. I don't know, because we listened to it back to back to back to back. It was one day at work. We listened to the whole thing, and it was amazing.
And tell me the name of it again, John, if you don't mind.
If you look up something along the lines of what happened to Richard Simmons or where did Richard Simmons go, I don't know the exact, but it's Richard Simmons.
And he's still missing?
Know the guy. There's never been a confirmation as to where exactly he is, but we know for a fact that he's healthy, he's happy, he's doing good.
Well, that's good news.
It goes into so much detail and so much speculation as to why he dropped out. But another fun fact about Richard Simmons is if he met you in the 80s and you were one of his fatties, that's what I'm going to call him. That's not what you call him. But if you were in his Sweatin' to the Oldies videos, or if you were at one of his seminars or whatever, and he got to know you, he knew you up until he disappeared, literally to a point he would talk to these people on a weekly basis. Yeah.
Wow.
There's another one that's similar to that, John. I don't know if you've heard about it. And this is just us. We're now co-opting Nicole's podcast in the middle of this. There's another one called Shit Town that came out 7, 8 years ago, called Shit Town. If you have not listened to it, oh my fucking God.
And
not shithouse related. No. Here's the elevator pitch for that. A guy in a small town dies unexpectedly. People are wondering what's going on, and there may be gold buried in his yard.
Ooh.
Yep. And he has nipples. He has nipples that he got pierced literally 7, 8 times each, and they stick out like crazy.
Ow.
What do you mean 7, 8? Is it rings around his
rings on top of crossbars on top of whatever?
Oh, I think went the same hole 7 or 8 times, and it was
and mercury poisoning. That's where I'm leaving it at.
What? You think it was what it was?
Probably
Oh no, bro! Mercury poisoning is just a tease for what happens in this. That's not a thing. That's a fucking that's a plot point.
Well, since we're getting off topic, I got something to recommend, dude. If you guys want to hear it, it's not a podcast, but it's a docu-series, crazy story. I've been watching The Secrets of Playboy on Hulu.
Ooh la la.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but unsurprisingly, there's a dark side. So
surprisingly, yeah.
Unsurprisingly, you got, beautiful people and a lot of money. There's going to be, wait, what?
I think it's produced by that girl, the former Hugh Hefner's girlfriend, Holly Madison, I think.
Oh, nice. Okay.
She was in it. I didn't see, I do not doubt that at all, though. She's very, which, good for her for telling her story, I don't know. She sounds like she didn't have it necessarily easy there at all. Just a great, I'm not done with it. I've been watching it just kind of, but I would recommend it. The story's pretty interesting.
Don't on Hulu. Look at that. We got all these great.
I know exactly. If you guys are looking for a docu-series or something, yeah.
But again, this is the power of podcasting. This is the power of being a sort of a pioneer in your field, going from just 2 people talking in the background to animating. If you really want to pull it back to animation, this is hell on my voice. This is this is almost like Shorties watching Shorties. Are you guys familiar with that on Comedy Central at all?
That name is so familiar. I do not remember this, but the name is so familiar.
So it's an animated show about two babies that basically it's like they're hearing bits and clips from like morning radio bits. And then those bits are then animated and you're like watching it through the baby's eyes as they sort of imagine what's going on. They would also use actually strike that, not morning bits, but it was because it's Comedy Central, it was stand-up bits. It was chunks of people's stand-up comedy. There you go.
Yeah, I guess this has that definitely. Smodimations has that vibe for sure. Because I mean, it's cool to like. 'Cause I don't know any other thing that was also doing it. Like, oh, we're gonna animate over us, like our podcast, and now look at us. We were ripping that off on our first.
Oh yeah,
our first go around.
Gospel Hour, that was another one that does a similar thing.
Yeah, Midnight. We did that also on the show.
It really was groundbreaking at the time. How early it was with those animations. Not Gospel Hour, but Smod.
Yeah, I mean, it's like kind of groundbreaking, but then also like forgotten about at the same time.
Yeah, you're right.
Man, but I love this animation, and the same style he used. There's a movie too called the Super Groovy Cartoon Movie, which I think is made by the same people. The movie's all right, but I do like this kind of animation style they do, especially like I just love the opening bit where it's like, Scott Moses is just like, hey, turn me into anything, just not a dickhead.
Oh yeah, that was so funny.
I don't want to be a dickhead, and then turns into a giant penis, and he's like, you're a giraffe, you just gotta suck, you just gotta rub it down, and just keep doing this. He's like, am I doing it?
The manatee sucking his man boob was special.
Sucking his man titties.
A manatee with man titties. Yes, very nice.
Oh my gosh, so funny. Yeah, a good throwback.
I don't know, Ben, any of these bits stick out to you?
I'll give you. I guarantee you, everybody in this room right now can guess my top two.
When Jay gets boobs and a butt.
No. That's very good, but it's that's more like a tag. I'm talking about two bits.
It's just like Ron is like blowing Harry.
The what?
Forget a kiss. Because when Ron's like blowing Harry, and they're like, forget a kiss.
Absolutely. So the Harry Potter one is one. What was the other one?
Let me think a second here. Filling the air. Don't want to. Was it the Rick and not Rick and Morty? Oh my gosh. Back to the Future one.
No, it was Angry Jesus. Angry Jesus with Dean and Scotty. Yeah. That I thought was hysterical. Jesus the Avenger.
Brought that to me up the other day. You're like, man, I wanted to see that movie so bad.
At the same time, he was doing hashtag Walrus Yes to see if anybody would be interested in Tusk. He had pitched these other movies, and this was one of them. It was Hell in a Handbag, and it was all about Jesus coming back. The rapture happens, all the good people go up, but now like you're not one of the good people. You're left below, and your only option is to side with Satan and fight evil, vengeful Jesus. Is that not the best movie pitch?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then they're riffing on that for the next 10 minutes of the 50 minutes.
It's just like, you know what? I would just ask for 10 minutes with Jesus.
Like that bit, but the Harry Potter one, the Harry Potter one just tickled the shit out of me, like from start to finish. And just some of the imagery, like that's the really cool thing about the way they did this is they're able to put you in the world visually of what you're hearing, and then it's like they'll call out these images of like the guy with the pirate eye patch on his butt, and then he walks into frame and you just see that eye patch on the dude's butt, like over his butthole, right? And then Dumbledore walking into the anal tower and it just says D was here on the side of it, right? Like it's these subtle little nods to them really just sort of expounding that I think is sort of the joy in a lot of this.
What is it like? It's not his stepbrother, but whatever, Harry's stepbrother or cousin, whatever.
Oh yeah.
But they showed whatever. They show his bit. It just looks like this. Like his eyes are like completely sideways, and like his shirt is flipped up over his belly.
It is like there's a lot of fun in all of that, and like,
But the Forgeticus shit made me laugh so fucking hard. Like I think that's like the funniest, like my favorite. It was like Ron just sucking his dick. He's like Forgeticus, and then he tries to like do it to like Hermione, and she's like, "That's not a thing. You can't just add Iticus to
the end of what you say."
And then Ron tries to do it again, and Harry's like, "Yeah, I was kind of just that's
It's not a thing. It's more like a suggestion, right? Like it's.
Oh
Yeah,
man, that's why I love about the shit. What were you saying,
Like
Nicole?
so like fuck J.K. Rowling. There was a line though where like Kevin Smith was like, "What would it be like to have sex with someone that creative?" And I thought that was just like hilarious.
Tell me a story.
Yeah. Like after sex, like oh my gosh,
Oh,
so silly.
I thought that was also really great, talking about like her ex-husband, right before she wrote the books, how that guy must feel like wandering around.
He's like, "I'm such a piece of shit." Yeah, like. I read the exact line. Like, yeah, so funny.
But like yeah, that's I thought that was fascinating because too, again, I mean, here's a situation where someone really like rose into fame, has more money than Jesus. Her politics are fucked. Like, sure. No doubt. But at the end of the day, like, could you imagine being that guy on the corner just being like, meow, I don't
You're
get
like,
no
oh,
money.
wow. Yeah, like wow, she's
Still living in some like 1-bedroom apartment somewhere in London.
Right.
I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he does it.
But still, like I like the way that because like they're clearly dudes who just like I guess that movie must have just come out when they did that episode.
yeah.
So they instead of like it's like basically like a movie review without even like reviewing it in any way,
Good point.
Because they're going through the entire movie, but then they're just completely just going off rails and just fucking off about it the whole time.
It's so funny.
I mean, even with the Avatar segment's the same thing.
I love
That was weird watching that. I'm like, man, that's how long it's been since Avatar that it's like, they're still talking about it 10 years later.
Early season.
Yeah,
of the show.
exactly.
Like, not to sound like chauvinist or anything, but it's funny how every conversation I feel like I have with about Avatar with people is always about the hot blue women, and they commented on that. They're like, "Oh, these like hot. That's the type of broad I like." It just felt very validating. Like, yeah.
And he kept calling them cat people, and I was like, I never thought of them
they
as
do look
cat.
like cats. Yeah, same. I never thought about that until this. Absolutely.
They have cat-like faces.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I never thought about it until they talked. They're like, the blue cat people.
I love
they're like,
when he was like, "My bird dick. The bird is my dick."
oh my gosh! Yeah, look at my big bird dick. Yeah.
It's this whole show is. I wish there was more of it. You know what I mean?
There's some more stuff on. I said on YouTube. Like the Smodimations, like this is the movie that I guess the DVD that you could buy and they put out whatever. But there is shit just like other random clips on YouTube. Like they did the whole BBC, like I said, that thing I did earlier where they they make fun of the Canadian police scanner. There's like they did a whole. There's tons of bits on it that are animated that are on YouTube.
I gotta check that out because I would like to see. And I should have thought that there'd be more. I just didn't. But I'm gonna have to check those out because these are really fucking funny. So
there's like a Scott Mosher, the one that's actually live, where Scott Mosher talks about his time doing coke.
That's a great.
And he has his friends like pouring his heart out to him, and he's like dry mouth, like rubbing on top of the roof of the car.
I love the bouncing ahead a bit. I love the one where Scott was talking about the I guess it was the first date with his wife or something like that.
Oh yeah.
They're like playing Scrabble, and she's like, "Do you want to score?" And he's like focusing on the game. Great, like double entendre.
Like, yeah, I'm trying to score.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get 100 points on this.
Polymer, 300 points.
Yeah.
Polymer.
Man, so silly, so perfectly silly. I was really into that one too.
And he said he spelled out destiny on his thing.
And then you have Kevin Smith like a weird little troll in the background where you're writing things like blowjob and like
Yeah.
Second base.
Please.
Oh, dude, and the funniest part, at least to me in that bit, is what is it that he says? It's sort of right at the beginning of it where he's talking about meeting, and then he's in Scotty's voice. He's like, yeah, I want to get in it. And he's like, does that like turn you on, like pointing at your vagina and calling it it?
Oh,
Is that like...
that was so funny because he was like, I want to get in it, and she's like, I'm a she.
Yes.
And he's like, no, I mean it. I'm talking about your vagina.
It.
And then she actually, then they're like, well, sober Scott would just run away. He's like, yeah, I'm just high. And like, you weren't supposed to talk to me.
That's so funny.
Oh my God. I forget. Yeah, they just have really good banter. I guess that's the thing. It's like, it's just two dudes talking, which turned me off to podcasting initially. But like, if their banter's that funny, I'm here for it, you know?
I mean, because they're just, I mean, I feel like it's more than, I mean, I guess you can say that. I mean, I feel like a lot of podcasts too are just a lot of, because yeah, I mean, there's a lot out there that's just a lot of just like dudes talking and whatever. But when I listen to this, it just feels so like, I don't know if raw is the right word. Like, it just feels so like genuine. It's just like, you know, they weren't really trying to be what I think a lot of dude podcasts are trying to be these days. Like, it was just like, we're just going to hang out.
Yeah.
And just like, you know, you live down the street from me. Let's go do something where we're not working on movies.
I also like,
beyond natural. It's beyond natural.
Yeah,
like, it's so good. Yeah.
They like tell a story too, which I think, I mean, I'm comparing it to what I watched, but I like that it's like through their like just banter, they're telling these like weird stories about like Harry Potter. Like, you're like, what's happening? Very silly. I like it.
Yeah, and you know, if you a lot of Smodcasts, you can always hear Kevin's dog Shecky barking.
Oh,
so and Shecky's got a few cameos in this, and Shecky's still alive.
You told me that today. That is mind blowing. That dog is
right.
Old. Is an old dog.
He posted a recent photo. They brought it with him to the Smodcastle cinema.
Oh, cool.
It's just like this gray dachshund. This poor little baby.
I love dachshunds.
That's what I remember about Smodcast. Is like I guess I don't remember bits as much, but I just remembered like the way it sounds. You know, like certain noises. Like you'd always hear Kevin just always hear his lighter click constantly. You'd always hear like Shecky barking and be like, Shecky! Shut up, Shecky!
There was an episode, and again, I wish I could remember the number, but they talk about how there was an experiment that they did, that some group did, where they had a robot that was just like a shop vac with noodle arms and googly eyes that they put on one end of Canada, and a little note attached to those like, take me along with your adventure, and it went all the way across Canada and all the way back. And they did it in Europe, and it went like all around Europe. And they put it in America, and it didn't make it to Pennsylvania.
I think it got as far as Philly.
It's destroyed and left in the ditch and all set. And it's like a world traveling. And again, it's not a robot. There's nothing on top of it. There's barely a tracker in it. But I remember that episode being the funniest thing to.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's where I heard about it. It was on that episode of Smodcast. Yeah, where they're like, yeah, it's made as far as Philly.
That's great.
There were some good episodes. Again, I'm trying to remember if some other major episodes. There was.
I mean, the Walrus Chest has to be like the most famous. You know, because I mean, it literally got a movie made.
It did. I remember. I have a tweet. You can find it on my old Twitter. I don't know the handle, but I tweeted #WalrusYes.
And I remember from that time, man, because at that time Kevin Smith wasn't doing anything now besides the podcast, and he had Comic Book Man, but he wasn't like actively working on anything. He wasn't making movies
after Red State.
Yeah, and Red State kind of came and went. And I remember I would listen to, because I said I listened to his podcast all the time, and he would talk about it, or even interviews. He'd be like, "Yeah, I'm done with movies," or he said he wasn't really done, but he wasn't like into it. You know, he got tired of people shitting on him. He got tired of just like dealing with all that. But then that podcast happens, and then because of the Walrus, he was like, "Wow, people want to see this. You know, people are actually voting to see this. Now I kind of have to make it."
Oh, that's cool.
And now, but ever since Walrus, though, I mean, he's made what? Like how many movies since? I mean, I feel like he's I just remember that moment of Walrus, like, because I remember I was like one of 5 people in the theater to see Tusk.
Yeah.
Like nobody was in it. So that movie didn't really do that great either, but it really set off him back into movie stuff. I mean, I feel like since then he's now, we got Masters of the Universe, we've got all these podcasts, we've got, Clerks 3, Jay and Silent Bob.
So,
Yeah.
maybe don't bring up Jay and Silent Bob. I wasn't a big fan of the reboot. I'm sorry. I wasn't.
Okay. But besides being a fan, though, like I'm not talking about quality of the movies. It's just the fact that when I like this one podcast when he was like kind of down on himself, somehow was able to like make him want to go back and do it again when he was out of it.
Here's the thing, man, and this is the thing that I would love to see. Like, I liked Red State. I thought Red State was good.
Yeah, Red State grew. I didn't like it at first.
And I liked Tusk a lot. Like I like that a lot. I would love to see him sort of branch back out again, like try those sort of things.
Honestly, there is a movie that was made starring Chris Jericho. It was only I forgot what the problem was with the release of it. It took forever to get released, and then eventually threw it in as an NFT. So it's still like not even really out there. It's called Kilroy Was Here.
I believe it's possible.
Probably. I've tried to find it. I can't find it. So maybe we'll try to find it later. But it's called Kilroy Was Here. And it's like he went to a college and he just like with Chris Jericho and they made like a full like slasher horror movie with this character.
That's amazing.
Seriously.
But for some reason it never got released, or it's only as I don't know
What's
what happened.
the View Askew movie with Dante as the clown?
Oh, that's not made by Kevin
Vulgar.
Smith. That's
Yeah.
Vulgar. That's made by Brian Johnson from like Tell 'em Steve David and Comic Book Ben. That's like the adjacent Kevin. That movie's fucked up. Because that was a time where he was producing stuff of like, oh, I'll give my buddies X amount of money, and they'll make their movie, whatever.
And we got Vulgar, and that movie, I remember, I was just like, when I saw that, I was like, this is the direction I hope View Askew continues to go in.
I don't know, man. Vulgar is definitely one of the most uncomfortable movies. Though, like, it's definitely great, but it's definitely one of the most uncomfortable movies ever.
I mean, that was made to be, and it succeeded very, very well at its goal.
And who?
Yeah, I have a signed copy.
You do.
Oh. No, it's just a movie I never heard of before. And I found out today, or forgot and then re-remembered, that Kevin Smith directed Tusk. I've never seen that movie, but like I remember when it was popping out, I wanted to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember a lot of people wanting to see it, and then it was just me and 5 people in a
theater.
Yeah. Justin Long?
I was.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
I saw it in theaters. I had to sneak in.
How many people in your theater?
So it was me and my buddy, and then maybe like a group of 3 in front and a group of 4 behind. But you're right. It was a dead theater. It was not a popular movie. I did not see it twice like I probably should have. But now I own the Blu-ray, the DVD, and I made myself a VHS.
Yeah. I got the VHS copy too.
I made myself a VHS.
I did. And I even put A24 trailers on it because it was a very, very early A24 release. So I have time-appropriate A24 trailers.
Nice. Wow.
John, are you looking for a job with A24? Is this like your next sort of thing? Is this what you're moving into?
I'll take anybody that's hiring. I'm an editor. I'm a graphic designer. Whatever you want to offer.
A very giving lover, a very kind lover, a very
yeah. Older men seem to have a fascination with me. I don't know why, but if I could leverage that in employment, please let me know. My email is
it's lsuckyourdick27 at gmail.com.
Oh man, I don't even remember what I was just about to bring up.
I don't think it matters at this point because that's what I would smodimate also from this particular podcast is John is sitting there at his computer, he's editing, right? Like he's putting the finishing touches on his Tusk VHS, and then inside of his inbox you get a pop-up from creepy old producer at his email address lsuckyourdick27 for filmjobs@gmail.com, and then it's Bergio going, hot dog, I got it, I got it. Here we go.
Money.
and then you cut to it's John Bergio naked, covered in oil, while like three elderly men, completely nude, just like make it rain money on him, and then Bergio's just rolling on this bed full of money.
I got a fun acting story recently. I got a call from Austin Jennings, friend of the show, who was like, "Hey, I need somebody who has like your size and shape hands for some insert shots for my movie Eight Eyes coming out soon." Of course, whatever you need. He lives right down the block, so I take the bus there. And then I get there, and I'm complaining about how frequently I have to take off my shirt in movies. And you can see in his face that he realized, like, oh no, I should have mentioned that when I asked to borrow his hands. Because immediately I'm having to take off my shirt because he's getting like belly down shots of a man who was butt-ass naked the entire movie. Now let me tell you, this is going to be a great movie. You should go and see it. But even better, you get to see not just that naked man, but you get to see me naked a little bit in it too. No balls.
No balls this time.
You see me. I had accurate enough man boobs to match the other actor.
Wow. Wow. So like same sort of like structure, right? Like placement.
And yet same placement, nipple structure. He was probably hairier.
Isn't that the
me.
same reason on Shitstorm too?
Probably. I don't know. I just frequently I get asked to take off my shirt on movie sets as an actor. They just don't want me clothed.
Hey, you do it, man.
John,
which is awesome.
I'll keep doing it if you pay.
John, it's a podcast. You ain't been here in a minute. Why don't you take your shirt off?
Just
Take
for
your
the
shirt
crowd.
off for us.
Are we all on video,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, and you know, we can have male nipples.
Oh,
that's fine.
wow.
I don't want.
I was gonna say, you guys are so fortunate. We would get kicked off of YouTube if I showed my nipples, so might as well, you guys. Exercise your rights to show your nipples.
Should I put it back on?
Nah, go shirtless.
I didn't mean to make you feel guilty.
No,
I'm
she's
going-
just
I'm-
pointing out injustice in America is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, you can always protest. Nobody will stop you. Well, YouTube will. YouTube will stop you. Facebook and Twitch.
Now
will
let's get
also
some
stop
views.
you.
You know what?
Let's
That's,
get some views.
that's true. All right, guys, I'm gonna flash. No, I'm kidding.
There's just
I'm not.
for
I said
everybody.
that at my bachelorette party this weekend because someone made a joke at my expense, and I was like standing there awkward, and I was like, "Who wants to see my tits?" So that's just something I do.
I mean, for the people listening Saturday morning, unless you tell them separately, they'll never know.
Well, that's why you gotta. Whoever, if you're listening on Saturday morning,
If
come
you're
over to
listening on
YouTube
Saturday
and-
morning, just know I flashed my tits on YouTube.
There you go. Done.
Yeah, and you get to see this amazing shirtless Bergio
Yeah,
right now.
even better is Bergio. Yeah, there you go.
Let's see if your shirtless Bergio will give us some extra views on YouTube. Oh, Babs is
There you
commenting.
go.
To say.
So she's about your hand modeling, so I guess we're
Oh.
still on a bit of a delay on YouTube. So.
It's okay.
Oh, you're still
I need to
you still
trim
got
my
a shirt
nails
on
badly.
YouTube.
I still have a shirt on YouTube.
Just for
Oh
a
wow,
minute.
You guys-
yeah.
I love the delay.
You don't know what they're in for yet. They're gonna
Because I
get
can't even warn them. I can't even be like, "You're in for one hell of a surprise." By the time they hear that, they'll already be
So
there.
this is the best part about this whole thing. While we're learning what we're doing with YouTube and how long our delay is, the people listening Saturday morning get to learn with us as we go along. That's the thing. That's the big thing there. John,
yay boobs.
thank you for indulging me. This is the best.
You're not just gonna finish the show shirtless?
No.
I don't blame you, John.
That's extra.
You do
Right?
you.
Yeah, we gotta start paying on the
We
show.
gotta start charging. No, you guys don't have to pay. I just have to start charging.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is. Yeah, entirely.
Everyone, Venmo John for that. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
At Fantasy
at
Shed.
Fantasy Shed. Send James the money to send John. James will give John 10%.
We'll get 2 cameras. We'll upgrade the show.
Yes, that's John's boob money will upgrade the show.
You did get once, Ben. You offered to manage my OnlyFans
Bro.
for me.
Done.
That's so nice. What a nice thing of a friend to offer.
Done.
All I gotta do is film it and send it. He's got the uploading, the commenting, the texting
I'll take
people.
care of all of that. Yeah, done.
I would love to like hitting up some DMs as John.
I mean,
Bergio.
listen, all day long, that's all I want to do. I will manage your OnlyFans for you, John. That's it. Done.
Somebody,
This is relevant to this and relevant to the chat. Reeves wrote, "Producers got an urge for the Burge." So, I think.
Thank you, Reeves.
I
mean, come for the guy who got you fully naked. So
He did. He did get me
I was
fully
gonna
naked.
say, after what you're about to put up,
Well, it was real life. But
well, not like at least on film.
not in a,
It was
in a formal producer way.
I will say though, like that's the thing. After what you're about to put up on Amazon and Tubi for the world, John, this is merely just a taste. Like this is just a taste of what they're gonna get.
I could live like Just a Daisy does, and she seems to have one hell of a life.
You could. You just gotta do it.
Another friend of the show, shout out. Thank you for helping us in Cuck Island and Weird Year, all the other movies we do.
Absolutely.
Oh, she's amazing. Talking about Jessa Flux.
You're Jessa.
She's
Yes.
what an amazing person. I'm so happy. Just like every time I see her in a new, like she's all over the place. She's getting into so much work lately and stuff.
Yep.
She's
Scream. Coming out.
Scream Dream. Yeah. Oh, super cool.
Which I can't say too much about it here and now, but I'm slowly working my way through what'll turn into our shooting script for that, and I got a couple of interesting notes for scenes to add in as we go along for Scream Dream, and one does include a pillow fight, a drunken, super sexy late night congratulatory pillow fight, which then turns into a very hot and steamy sort of situation. So yeah.
Oh boy.
We got a lot of naked people. Just we do a lot of naked. We film a lot of naked people.
I mean,
It's true. There's a lot of naked people
At least like
in our
5 people I know naked, including Lloyd.
That's true.
The first day I was on set for Where Dear was, well, not really naked. Kind of. Boobs. I was like, oh, there's boobs. Okay.
yeah.
Well, I remember like one time you and Jazz were talking. You guys were like next to me, but I was like fiddling with something in front of me, and then I just like turned around. And you guys were in the middle of a conversation. Jazz just like rips off her top, and you guys were still just talking. Like,
Oh,
just
yeah.
So casual.
Yeah, I do remember that. That's right. Yeah, well, with like, I don't know, especially with gal pals, like, whatever. You know what this looks like.
Yeah. That's what the funny.
With gal pals and James, it's like, whatever. You know what this looks like.
And I remember like I was squinting, and she was like, you don't have to not look away. And I was like, no, literally the sun is right now.
James is like, forget what else is here. The sun is too bright.
I'm not just being polite. My eyes are. The sun is. Yeah.
And yeah, we all know, we've all seen all of Derek too, in Where Dear.
Oh yeah.
Not just there, but in the 48 short, like, Derek.
And you can't forget about Adapter either.
Adapter, another great one we see a friend naked in.
What's the word I'm looking for? Is it exhibitionists? Are we all just exhibitionists except for?
I guess. I don't want to be naked. I hope you guys don't ever see me naked.
I was going to say maybe a handful of us are not. That's fair. A handful of us are not.
I wouldn't say exhibitionist. I like to believe that I'm a nudist in the truest sense of the word. For example, the moment James and Fernando are not home, that door is locked just in case they do come home. And I am butt-ass naked.
Good for you. That's awesome. Good for you.
So, like, okay, so, and I've heard rumors about this. See, and I'll also, let's tie this quickly back to the animation that we're watching.
Yeah, good idea. We're talking about it, yeah.
I feel it's this stuff that, it's this level of conversation that we're having now that I think of thing like Smodcast, that I think of thing like Smodimation sort of spurs on, right? Like I really do.
Yeah.
Because
which I hope I like dream. You know what I mean? That's what I hope we do in this show.
But I mean, I think it is because, like, again, there have been moments, and God bless John for being on tonight because he has been, front and center of all of them, at least in my mind's eye. I only see, like, John, again, it starts at his computer, or maybe he's at his stove, right? Like he's at the stove, he's working on James's cake. James goes off for a sound gig. He's got his stuff on him. Fern goes out to do some AC work, right? Everybody's just out the door, and then there's like Papa Bergio, like stirring up some batter. He's got the little apron on over everything. They leave. He goes, he looks out the window, sees them walking down towards the subway, and then just strips nude in the window. And then it's John going through his entire day.
But he still keeps the apron on.
Apron, right? Just the apron. And every once and again, he stands in over a vent, and it blows up, and he has to push it down all Marilyn Monroe style. It's just him bouncing nuts under his apron. I love it.
Is that accurate, John?
I hope. I like to hope that I got large, pendulous balls.
You got a good sack.
There's a whole movie written about
An
it.
entire movie written about your.
That's next soundbite too. You got a good sack.
You got a good sack.
Yeah.
That reminds me too. When I was working with Chili Beans all weekend. Shout out to Chili Beans over here. And we were just going through different puns of like, where Chili Beans is gonna have like his interview podcast. We called "Spilling the Beans."
Ooh.
And then I said something about like in between the beans, and Chili Beans was like, "That's my only fans."
I mean, there could be one where Chili Beans is. How do you get to bean dip? I mean, it's him doing a show from a hot tub, right? Is that bean dip?
Oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
Bean dip.
He's in the hot tub. That is
He's
genius.
just in a hot tub interviewing people. Chili Beans live from my mom's hot tub. But in between the beans was my personal favorite. But yeah, I mean, Smodimations though. I don't know, John. Well, you got any favorites out of this?
Oh, favorites?
Besides the Christ one.
Give me a second. Why was I chosen first?
Well, I asked Ben and Nicole already talked, so
I'm gonna go back to it's the pizza one. It's so simple. It's so quick. At every moment of it is laugh out loud funny. And it's just because as a dumb American, Canada is still as foreign as any other foreign land.
Like that, I laughed hard when he was just like, "Yeah, we just don't do that in Canada."
Yeah. I love that.
They put their milk in bags. You have to have a milk pitcher for your milk bags. What kind of back world is this? They have a loony and a toonie. What kind of money is that? Just my comments on Canada, real quick. My apologies.
Well, Canada's cold. That's why I haven't gone up to Canada. I don't like cold places. But Canada's probably nice. I mean, I'm sure it's like a beautiful place. I mean, I heard Toronto's a nice city. I don't know. Has anyone actually been to Canada?
No, I haven't. But I'm with you. I heard Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal are all pretty nice. Shockingly, no, for how close I am. But yeah, I guess because it's cold. I guess I've gone to Mexico because it's warm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I go to the warm.
Yeah.
So I'm going to travel. Oh, Ben, you never been to Canada?
No. I haven't been to Canada. I also haven't been to Mexico. Like, I've been to most of the states, though, but that doesn't count. That's not far.
I just thought maybe because you're up in Oregon. I don't know.
Oh,
I feel like
it's a state away from. It's one state away. No, but I have been to Europe twice. So I mean,
here's my question.
That's cool. Yeah.
I was about to say, I feel like it'd be easier to whittle it down from the ones you guys have visited. Have you guys gone to Ireland?
Not Ireland. I've been to Germany, Italy, England, France, and then Austria. Yeah.
My goodness.
Oh, yeah, a lot of European countries.
Well, traveler
let
Ben
me tell ya,
Johnson.
I used to have a thing called a passport. I would like to, though, again. There's a thing that before I get too old, I want to make happen. Jen and I have talked about it for literally the whole time we've been together, and I want to make it happen and soon. But the Czech Republic, I've never been to the Czech Republic. I want to get us like hosteled.
Oh,
That'd be-
well, I don't know about that.
This is going so like nice. And I was like, that sounds so sweet. And he was like, yeah, we're gonna get hostile together.
No. But truly, like,
It's like, that dude gets like that photo from his friend that's like decapitated. And it's just like his head, but it's like some text, like it's like a green screen behind it. That's when it like, hey, time Czech Republic not coming back, and it's just your head smiling. Like,
that's the photo booths that they have there. Yeah, right. Like those things that you put your head through, and it's like your face on the local like the local whatever.
Yeah, like a mermaid or like like the buff beach dude. Or
Exactly, but it's like a green screen, and then they hand you this gory thing, and it's just your head from the Czech Republic. But no, that's always a thing that I've really wanted to do. So at some point, and like probably sooner than later, I want to figure that out. I want to figure that, not the hostile part of it, but
yeah.
Well, yeah, I hope you get there. But yeah, I mean, also part of the reason why I wanted to talk about Smodcast, besides the Smodimations Smodcast, besides the fact that I just, everybody knows how much I love Kevin Smith. But also recently, our good friend, or like coming up on Saturday, our good friend and friend of the show, Liam Regan's playing at the Smodcast Cinema with Kevin Smith. And to me, it's amazing. I mean, I've talked about it a billion times on the show, how I like do not want to meet Kevin Smith, but I get to now like sit there and like see my friend Liam with Lloyd, with Justin, with Kevin, all of them together. Like I could just live vicariously through that moment.
Amazing.
And I'm so excited.
How
can't
do
wait.
you not like see? And this is where you and I differ greatly, right? Like afterwards, I know exactly what I would do. If I were able to be there, and I wish I could be, and I'm very sad that I'm not. But what I would do is play the ultimate baller move. You go past Justin, you go past Lloyd, you see Kevin Smith there, like, and in my mind I see him with Liam, right? They're having their little conversation afterwards, and you completely ignore Kevin Smith at the same time. And you just interrupt the conversation. Liam was beautiful. That was amazing, wonderful. And then
I love that.
you push Liam into the
great.
situation where he has to introduce you to Kevin Smith.
Ah, damn, that is some smart
That's
stuff.
low key how you get in there. That's how you get that handshake, buddy. You know what I'm saying? And then you're like, Kevin Smith, I love your movies. Wonderful jobs. Reboot was a little whatever, but Tusk was great. And then you leave it at that.
I would just I would get that far, and then you'd be like, "Hey," then I would just start crying.
To meet him.
You would just shit your pants.
I can picture it. Hi, yeah, I love your movies.
Lloyd comes over and helps walk you up.
And he's like, Jesus Christ.
Lloyd starts yelling at me, just starts berating me more. What the fuck are you
Why
doing?
like a baby? He made the same movie 5 times. What the fuck is your problem? Like,
But I'm so excited for it because also his movie, Eating Miss Campbell, I've not seen it yet, and I'm excited to like see it in theaters.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
excited to like, I mean, it's just such a cool thing. Of like, I don't know, just to be there, at the Smodcastle, seeing my friend's movie because I was just there seeing Batman. Now I get to see Eating Miss Campbell. Like that's fucking sick.
Hell yeah.
I did get sent a cut of Eating Miss Campbell like a while back. And I don't know if anything has changed in, I guess, maybe the last 6 months or so since I saw the cut. But it is very, very well executed. It is a beautiful looking movie. I mean, and Liam hits all of those trauma notes. You know what I mean? It is.
Yeah.
It's thoughtful. It's there's a level of joy in its offensiveness, which I think cuts the edge a little bit of that. He does have a voice. He's got something to say in it, and yeah, it's a
I mean, yeah, I've seen the trailer a bunch, so like, I definitely feel that for sure, and that's why I'm pumped to
it's
see
a
it. Yeah,
good fucking
Because, like,
movie, dude.
yeah. And not even though it's just my friend's movie, like it also just looks awesome. So I'm just super excited to see it.
Are you doing the second week too? Are you and Nicole going to the one in LA as well?
To go in LA as well.
So I actually got to be transparent. I realized I double booked. My mom's coming into town that weekend. Otherwise,
Take her.
Other,
It's a movie for moms. I promise you.
that's true. We can bond over it.
Agree with Ben.
I think it.
Yeah, bring your mom.
I think it truly might be a tad bit much to like have her fly in and then us drive to LA. Because anyway, I was planning on going until I realized I double booked. James, I'm happy you're going though. I'm bummed I'm missing it. It looks like it'll be an awesome time.
I'm pumped, and yeah, I think Mr. Fitness is going to be there too. Apparently.
Oh, that's so cool! My gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, missing all the fun. I keep listening to more fun people, Nicole, that you're not going to hang out
Yeah.
with.
Wow. Thanks. Sorry, I got to hang out with my mom. Just the woman who gave birth to me.
You just tell her. You just say, "Ma, here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna meet the people that I made this awesome movie with, right?" Because Liam was on Where Dear. James, I mean, he's the only sound guy I know.
I mean, my mom, if it was in the same city, she would go. Don't get me wrong, she would watch it with me. You know what I mean? Like, if it was
Fresno
in the same city.
like a suburb that's like 5 hours away? That's it, right?
Yeah, I mean, basically, but
Only 5 hours.
It's like I think that she's flying in the day of the. I don't know. It's just I think it's a little too much to drive down with her.
No, okay.
Just gonna cancel hanging out with James on his birthday trip. It's okay.
Well,
Nobody
okay.
Well, you still down? You know, I can still come out. I'll be still there all week. We still gotta record some Totally Toonular, right? Am I still down for that?
You had pitched that. You're welcome to come up here. I'm here. I'm doing my thing.
There we go. We'll get that going. We'll still hang out.
Cool. I'm excited for that. But I'm more excited that I'm excited to hang out with you. I love you. I'm excited that you're going to Liam's screening. That's great.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a good time. I'm super pumped. I said I ended up just working out, and also because the Smod Castle screening is the day before I leave, and then the LA screening is the day before I leave LA. So I get to cap off my trip with Edie Miss Campbell.
That's awesome.
Starting off at the same time.
That's amazing. That really is, and like low key, dude. I mean, well, not even low key, but like you have to be, and it's not just like.
Down low, Ron.
It's not just like being proud of your friends, but like it's this level of like, and not even living like vicariously through them. Like you want to see your people succeed. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like there's a part of me that really feels like if you want, and it's not about like drawing success to yourself. It's really like putting it out there for others. You want to see that. Like, I want to see you at the Smod Castle. I want to see Bergio, wherever Bergio wants to be, as naked and free as he wants to be. I want to see Nicole out there too. Like, I want you guys to do well. Like,
thanks, Ben.
Hearing about even it's like Cuck Island and streaming. Yeah, everything is on streaming. Sure, fine, great. You could take a big pile of poop and put it on streaming. I'm sure. But the fact that it's happened to our friend Reeves, John, like the fact that these things are actually coming to fruition is wonderful.
Yeah. Soon, hopefully, Where Dear too.
Trauma now all day,
also,
baby. Where real poop goes to die.
And it's like really cool too because like me and Liam have talked about Kevin Smith, a bunch.
Oh, I'm sure.
So it's like also just like a really cool thing to know that because I know he's a huge fan. So it's also
awesome.
Like, super, shit that we've talked about has now come to fruition. And even to give a shout out to the amazing Midnight Rose. I remember Blade telling me that he like actually donated to Clerks too, so he has like a credit in
That's
that.
awesome.
And I know, like, wherever, I know Blade's happy somewhere, seeing Liam up there with Kevin Smith and Lloyd. That feels like a wet dream for him, so it's just super great. I'm so pumped for it.
Awesome.
And speaking of, like, isn't EMC like Blade's sort of swan song, right? Like the last big theatrical
movie. So yes, to really see Blade 2 at the Smodcast. So really, so
That is true.
So that's fucking awesome. Very pumped for that.
I love it. Fuck,
So,
man, it's heavy, but
I wish you could come. I wish you
it's
could
heavy
make
but
it.
Great. I wish I could. Like Skype me in. Put me on. Put me on somebody's phone. You did it for Cook Island. You can do it for this.
And I also want to bring up to you is I like having you on here, John, for this because part of how we became friends was also because of Kevin Smith.
I'd agree.
Like I remember we were like literally talked about it. When we first met on Shitstorm, I remember we literally talked about a different Kevin Smith movie, like every day.
Conversation.
Yeah,
because it's an easy thing to default to. Because my brain could talk about Kevin Smith for 8 hours every day if I needed to. And to find somebody else that is as into Kevin Smith as I am, if not more, it's even better.
Yeah, I'm a guy who loves talking to people who like the same shit that I like, like a lot. But yeah, it was great to find. Not that I never really talked to people about Kevin Smith movies, but it was the first time I really got to talk about all the movies.
Yeah.
You got to and actually people who knew what they were talking about with it. Because I don't know, in film school, nobody, and not a lot of people watch Clerks. I would say it all the time. Yeah. And
people that watched it didn't like it. They were like, "It's slow, it's boring," and I'm like, "What am I seeing that you're not?"
Yeah, at least for me in my film schools, because none of those people worked in retail a day in their lives. I was the only one who spent most of their time in retail before I got to film school. My parents didn't pay for any of my shit.
Oh yeah.
That's very fair. I had never worked retail, but what I loved about it is just and same with Slacker, the film that inspired it, is you can imagine yourself having those conversations. At least I could. That was that was what scared me about Slacker when I first watched it, was the pap smear conversation. I'd be dumb enough to buy Madonna's pap smear and be like, "Yo, man, look how cool this is."
Look at the urns that we have in our apartment.
We do have an urn. Colleen Maria Schwartz. Shout out to being my favorite actress.
Did you ever? So.
I did. I reached out to the family. Nobody ever responded.
Oh, we're live on YouTube now. We want to give it.
Yes.
Send a message to the
family, please. If you guys respond to me, I will happily pack her up and send her back to the family where she belongs. I'll hand deliver her. I have not just the tiny urn, but the rest of the ashes, and the urn's on display, and the rest of the ashes are in a very safe place. So please, if the family is listening, I'll happily deliver her back. But until then, she's gonna act in all my movies. She'll get that credit that she's always wanted, I hope.
Well, what's her name again?
Colleen Maria Schwartz.
Colleen Maria Schwartz.
I believe Maria would have been her maiden name, and then married into the Schwartz family. Somewhere in the east side of Cleveland by, not Raven, Ohio. It's someone with an R. I wish I could tell you.
Oh, may the Schwartz be with you.
May the Schwartz be with
you.
God damn it.
But all that to say, I just had a conversation about it. That's why I like about Kevin Smith. I feel like he has dialogue down to a pat. He knows how people talk and how characters talk, and he knows. I don't know what deal with the devil he made, but he knows how to make a great story out of just life. Yeah. More interesting than Seinfeld. He figured it out at 23.
It was, yeah,
2.
I'm pretty sure it was 27 when Clerks actually came out. But he was. Yeah, that's when Clerks came out. So yeah. It had to be 25, I assume, 24. He really got into probably writing. But yeah, and I just that's why I was sick. That's why I was when Ben almost couldn't make it, I was I can get Bergio on here. Because even watching the Smodimations, you're the only other person I knew who knew about it and could talk about it even before watching it. Now we're just here watching it.
I do enjoy it. I do like Kevin Smith's Smodimations. They were early YouTube gold, really.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I guess it's about that time. So let's go around this little circle here. Ben Johnson, since even though you keep talking a lot, I know you can't talk too much.
Look, my vocal cords, I've been sweating because I'm trying to talk well, and it's been a thing.
But what are your final thoughts? What are you going to give
No,
this show?
this is hands down a success. Like hands down. Success. I love the way this stuff worked out. Like I genuinely, I love the idea of animating, like adding visuals to sort of spoken word, to like conversation, to people riffing. You
Yeah.
know?
There's I just remember there's one I watched. It's a Bill Murray, not Bill Murray, Bill Burr bit. Him talking about being on an airplane where this guy was like heckling him on an airplane, and they like animated the whole bit. It's really funny. It's on YouTube.
That's
Cool.
the thing I'm gonna find. But
Yeah, it's like Bill Burr, airplane on YouTube. You'll find it.
Cool.
but I love that. I think that notion of creation and creativity is you don't see enough of it. And I think in bite-sized bits, as opposed to like minute-long TikToks or whatever, you can spend 4 to 8 minutes watching something like this and come away with something significantly more.
And it seems like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like they're like, hey, take our bits and just whatever. I wish I knew the name of the animation company. This is why we need Leo here with the facts.
Yeah.
But it seems like they're like, here's our bit. And then those guys figured it out. You know what I mean? They were like, okay, this is where we want it, and draw it however we want it, and like, stylize it the way we're going to do it, which I think is really cool. So yeah,
Success.
All right, Nicole, as the only person here who hasn't listened to Smodcast, what are your final thoughts? What are you going to give this?
Oh yeah,
give this show?
I definitely give it a success. I mean, there are so many really funny bits. The Back to the Future one, I mentioned it earlier, is so funny. There was like
your kid turns to Hitler too.
There was like a line about like ruining the family line. Like they're like, this is what happens to your kid. They're like, okay, we just won't like have a baby.
We're gonna get abortions every time now. Every time she's pregnant, we're gonna get an abortion. You ruined the McFly family name.
So funny. Oh my gosh, there were really funny ones. And like I said, I mean, I haven't listened to Smodcast, but I do like Kevin Smith movies, and I like grew up watching a lot of his movies, so I like him a lot. Anything he signs up for, I tend to like. So yeah, definitely a success.
Success.
Well, you say that, but you also have missed out on both our Masters of the Universe podcast, Nicole.
I know. Well, that's no disrespect to our man. I'm a superhero stuff. I don't know, or whatever it is. I don't even know.
I guess it's kind of all right. But John, what are your final thoughts?
I mean,
what are you giving it?
If we're rating it between to success, it's definitely a success.
Success.
It's the great thing about it is if you have 3 minutes to spare, you can watch it on YouTube. If you've got an hour to spare, you can watch it on Tubi. But it's not like it's a quick. It'll fill up your your need for comedy, and it won't take 2 hours to do it. It won't take a whole day to watch and catch up. You can enjoy all of it in 2 hours max, and that's all of the YouTube and the movie.
Yeah,
you would if you're looking for comedy and you like Kevin Smith. And you feel like, I wish he just put out more. The podcasts aren't enough. Watch the podcast animations.
Yeah, like the 8 podcasts he does now aren't enough. No, yeah, this is great. I mean, I'm giving it a success. And I think one I haven't talked about yet too is the Aquaman bit.
Oh, right at the beginning.
Yeah, he was like, being in the ocean sucked. No one wants to fuck you. All they want to do is eat you, and they make you drive.
They make you drive.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. I assume it's because Aquaman's always driving. He's always like on the fish. You know what I mean? Like driving them. But then it's like he was like, I want like aquatic justice, and then he's like, well, do you want to get high?
Yeah, it's so funny. And they like, I love how it's such like a silly, perfect gag. They like light up a joint underwater.
Yeah. He was like, what happened to the aquatic justice? I mean,
I like when he
so
takes
funny.
his leg off and feeds it to, what is it? He feeds it to the shark or whatever.
It's like, he's like, here, take it. He just hands it to
So good.
Yeah, I mean, I said I love Kevin Smith always to death. And Smodcast always has a strong place in my heart. Like, I'll never forget. Like I said, like I talked about not re-listening to podcasts. I'm probably going to re-listen to it because I haven't listened to it since that was like 2014 2015. So what, like fucking like 8 years ago, almost 10 years ago. So I'm gonna re-listen to it now because it's all about Clerks 3. And I remember listening to that and being like a definitive moment of like, oh, I need to get out of PetSmart and go try to make a movie somewhere or get like go do something.
Right.
So this podcast always has that place in my heart. I love Kevin Smith, and yeah, and always shout out to Liam Regan and this podcast. So it's gonna be super fun, and yeah, I'm so pumped, and I love that the Smodimation exists. I hope we can get Smodimations at some point. I hope we get some fan out there who's like, hey, I want to draw over your bits.
They can draw on my bits.
Selekia, friend of the show, tapping on your shoulder.
You're gonna draw my bits,
your bits,
Ben?
James?
Only if we can.
And then this is the one where it's John and Nicole, shirtless behind you, like just spread legged, right? Because we're going for equality in our nipples in our
There you
cartoons.
go. But speaking of equality, John and I both require getting paid.
There you go.
If we're topless.
Done.
So
in this
We're-
bit,
if we're
here, hang on. In the bit, don't worry. It all factors in. I got you, Nicole.
there you go.
So what
there you
it
go.
is,
Perfect.
is there stands behind James, spread eagle, naked, are John and Nicole, both shirtless in the background. Two elderly men come in with fistfuls of hundreds, hand them to both John and Nicole. James is still spread out, and then I come in Bergio's apron and also nude, and then I just have like a little piece of like a little paintbrush, and I just start drawing happy faces on James's balls, on his dick and balls.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's really Shakespearean of you.
That's beautiful.
Poetic, really.
Yeah, it sounds like the best art piece. We can just get a nice like photo of that, and we can like paint it like have it like the 16 chapter like on the ceiling.
Yeah.
And then
So if you would like to see that, audience members, please Venmo us at
Send me some
all of our Venmos.
give me some money.
Yeah, just all of our individual
Link
Venmos.
But the big catch is on the wall, on the table, somewhere we have to have like a framed portrait of Leo watching because he's not here tonight.
Yeah,
Very
we just put a framed photo up there because Leo would avoid it.
Nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
Every orgy needs an observer, and that's where Leo comes in.
But before we wrap, I did want to talk about too. Jason Mewes' like small bit at the end is also pretty funny. Where he was like, "I want to be like Jessica Rabbit. Give me boobs," and it's like boobs. He's like, "Give me an ass," and like the ass pops out. And he starts farting, and then he's like, "Give me a labia."
Oh yeah! Oh my god, that was so funny. Like, whoa!
I love how he was like, "Can I get animated too?" He just wanted in on the bit. That's all it was. He just wanted in on the bit.
Just like the slate, that he just wants to be in. He just wants to be a part of something. All right, well, let's roll out this thing. Ben Johnson.
Man, at yarn_Yeti on Instagram. You can also find me at shit.house.productions. You'll find me selling these beautiful DVDs. We still got Curse of the Deer t-shirts. We got all sorts of stuff. Just find me on there, hit me up, and then we'll talk through it, right? That's where I live. And low key, in about 2 weeks' time, once he gets back from California, you'll find me painting James's nutsack late at night.
Beautiful.
That's our next extravaganza for you.
There you go.
Nicole, what about you?
I do just want to say that Ben Johnson very kindly got me this. It's a magazine cover, with and it's like an original Rolling Stone magazine with
that's awesome.
Pamela Anderson with Beavis and Butthead. This is awesome. I love.
That's awesome.
My favorite part of it is not the fact. I mean, besides the fact that Pam Anderson's a babe, I loved how nervous and like shocked Beavis and Butthead looked sitting on her lap, like staring at her boobs. Like they just
Perfect.
So shocked.
I'm happy you brought up that Pamela Anderson is a babe. So like a couple Christmases ago, I brought up to like a group of people that Pamela Anderson is the hottest woman ever, and they made fun of me for it. I'm like, guys, I did not know this was a hot take at all. Like she's like arguably.
Yeah, she was like the babe.
Thank
She
you.
was
like
the babe.
Yeah, thank you.
and still very much. I mean, from her time on what is it? And not Tool Time, Home Improvement.
Home Improvement.
Yep, from Home Improvement on up, Pam Anderson was a staple. She was just on Stern not too long ago, actually talking about the Pam and Tommy thing that what was it on Hulu?
Yeah, apparently.
Hulu, yeah. I watched like one episode of it. I didn't like it, and then I was like, "Oh, Pam and Tommy had nothing to do with this, so I'm not gonna watch this anymore."
Ben, you can speak to this. Yeah, she's not a fan.
No,
right?
and she didn't get asked. She didn't get paid. She didn't get anything for that story at all. And
Fuck that, then.
Yeah, she had some words about it. If you can find it, I would highly suggest listening to her recent Howard Stern interview.
She
But let me find you out though.
Me? Yeah, wait, really fast. I just want to also plug that there's a documentary that just came out. I think it's called like With Love or something like that, like Love Pamela Anderson. Like she just dropped a documentary about telling her story. So please check that out. I'm gonna buy a Shithouse production shorts DVD right when we hang up tonight. Please do that. You guys can find me at Instagram _Nicole Matarese. I run Fantasy Shed's Twitter. I also have a Twitter for my podcast. You can listen to that. Totally recommend this dude. I am on hiatus. Season 1 wrapped up recently. But go back and check out Season 1 because maybe there are some podcasts you haven't listened to yet and that you'd like. So, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, all on Spotify right now. Go check it out. Juan Burgos, where can we find you at?
You can find me personally at VHS_revolution on Instagram, but I'm not very active there. If you want to see where I'm mostly active, you got to follow Classy Underground Movies on Instagram. One more time, that is Classy Underground Movies. If you live this side of the Mississippi, the east side of the Mississippi, please send that Instagram a message of which cities you would like us to visit in case we do a tour coming up this year.
And if you want stickers to plan around your city.
Yes, if you want us to plan around your city, or if you want stickers that you plan to hang up and vandalize your neighborhood with, let us know. We can possibly hook you up with that too.
I have 2 theaters close to Nashville. One I checked out today that's got like a little bit of a rental fee. But we can talk about that offline. I've low key been doing some looking for you guys down here. So bring the masses.
I'm down. I feel like Nashville would love to get cucked.
Yeah.
It wants it.
You know what I was thinking of really fast? I'm so sorry. And I mean, so bachelorette parties, as we were talking about earlier, are like all about penises. Very much promote Cuck Island and Were Deer to bachelorette parties. They love penises.
Yeah. The bachelor party movies, you throw it on the background.
Yep.
You are entirely right. That's why we need more male nudity in movies.
Yep.
For bachelorette
Yep.
movies.
Well, yes. Equality. There you go. Yep.
I'm gung ho. Let's do it.
And yeah, maybe we talk about what we're doing next week. You guys ready for next week?
Yeah. What's next week, James?
Because I guess I'm going to be hanging out with you, Nicole, next week. And not to bring it back to superheroes next week, but there is the Harley Quinn Valentine's Day special coming out.
Hell yeah!
And very excited for it. It looks amazing. We're gonna do it. I mean, for those who don't know what the plot is for the episode, it's that Harley and Poison Ivy fuck, and Ivy comes a little too hard, and spores get released into the world, and some shit goes down in Gotham.
That's the best news I've ever heard.
For an episode.
I'm sold.
More lesbian sex
game.
with people coming really hard. That's what the world needs.
That's tremendous.
So I'm very pumped for this special coming up. But yeah, always follow with the Fantasy Shed everywhere, all over the place, man. It's been so great having you on, John.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here and
Thank you, John.
talking about Kevin Smith with me.
Glad I could. Anytime, please. I live here.
Thank you, everybody.
Peace out, everybody.
You guys, this is all Kyle's mom's fault. Shut up, Cartman. Kyle's mom is the one that started that damn club, and all because she's a big